Omnipotent characters are awesome, but man have they been overused. Anime, Marvel, I'm looking at you. But when you take a step back from the trashy, overpowered heroes, godlike characters can be immensely satisfying to write, as well as providing depth and history to your world. Omnipotent beings can be tricky to write. It's difficult to create tension for a character that can't die. How do you raise the stakes when they have endless knowledge and complete mastery of their skills? I'll be separating them into 3 categories: antagonists, main characters, and neutral characters. Antagonists. Firstly, I've never been fond of omnipotent villains, and that's saying a lot. Will Cypher is in my top 10 fantasy characters, same as Adventure Time's Lich. The reason I don't enjoy seeing them play the main villain is because I find it difficult to believe that a being that can kill thousands of people with the snap of their finger, a being so strong that the world's collective military wouldn't stand a chance against, is somehow defeated by a couple of kids. Or a villain that has lived for hundreds if not thousands of years and known for the intelligence is somehow outsmarted by the protagonist. It's just not for me. Think about it. If the villain is immortal, they can simply just sit around for 80 years and the protagonist will be long dead. Most anticlimactic fight scene ever. Castlevania is a good example. It's an amazing show from art style to voice actors and story. But you're telling me that Trevor accidentally stumbles upon all the pieces of a dagger that can kill Death himself. If weapons like that exist, why were the vampires even considered a threat? Yes, it's great fun to see your hero triumph over impossible odds, but please don't jump the shark. When the only way to increase stakes is with impossible odds, your story will quickly become meaningless. I'm not saying omnipotent villains can't be done, but it sure is difficult to do them right. Even while writing this, and harshly critiquing others' works, I don't know how I would approach writing an omnipotent villain, which means I can't tell you without making up some nonsense that I don't even believe in. Main characters. The Sandman is a well-balanced show with a godlike protagonist. Dream of the endless. Instead of witnessing epic battles of immense proportion, we simply follow Morpheus as he rethinks what his relationship with humanity is, and what his true purpose in life is. Yes, there are a few fights between him and other immortal beings, or schemes to overthrow rival monarchs, which are entertaining, but if epic fight scenes are all you want, make a video game, not a story. Personally, I just love how all the endless siblings interact with each other, each with their own unique view of humanity and morality. Their separation from humanity and endless lifespans gives a different insight into what really matters. What does friendship mean over 1,000 years? How long does an immortal hold a grudge? Another good example is Superman. By all means, he is omnipotent, but he has limits with his own moral code. Morality is a great tool that lets you think of fascinating ways to use the character's abilities. You can balance the opinions of what is right or what is wrong. How does your person shape the world? Are they seen as a savior or as an overlord? How do governments or kingdoms implement systems to deal with these beings? Just like fantasy dragons, strong entities will always have a tremendous impact on how your world develops. You can't just throw dragons into a world without building a world that correctly and logically incorporates them. Even changing the smallest aspect of a world will dramatically impact this. Neutral characters. Godlike neutral characters are an absolute treat for me to watch. What better expression of power than to just do what you want whenever you want? These beings are more akin to natural disasters. A hurricane doesn't pick or choose, it simply inflicts indiscriminate destruction. Adventure Time is absolutely stacked with these people. Magic Man. He is definitely not a good guy, but he's not lich ending all life evil. He's just out there changing the world as he sees fit. Or Prismo. Sure, he seems good, but if someone wishes for death to all, he's just like, sure thing, can do. This neutral stance and refusal to pick a side is a fair way to incorporate overpowered beings into your story without the consequences of a never-ending plot holes or a boring one-sided fight. Guardians are another trope in this category. These are omnipotent beings that for some reason or another are trapped to a location or a job. Take the personification of death. No one can defeat death, but nor can death conquer the world. These two limits are great if you don't want to water down your character's power, but still want them to have rules and limits. With this, you can have your cake and eat it too. Your main character can visit or stumble upon these beings in times of need. Avatar: The Last Airbender uses spirits and lion turtles for this. Star Wars has temples and temple guardians. Keeping these characters and locations on the outskirts of your story helps encapsulate that mysterious and awe-inspiring feeling. But the key is not to overuse these beings or routinely visit their locations. Overexposure will only harm the integrity and the sincerity of these scenes. Now, with that brief understanding and a few examples of how to use omnipotent characters, I think I'm ready to tackle creating one of my own. For my story, I'm aiming to create a neutral, omnipotent character that is confined to a forest, both the warden and as the prisoner. As for design inspiration, I wanted something creepy like a Wendigo, however less horrifying deer and more man. Illifor's didact was also a key source of inspiration. I've always appreciated that art style. It needed to look timeless so it could seamlessly fit into any time period, not too futuristic but not too old-fashioned. And with that, I started to sketch out some ideas. For the most part, it was going smoothly. Finding the correct shaped horns was a challenge. I wanted to go with elk antlers, but they are rather cumbersome. Instead, I settled on more simplistic horns mimicking a crown. It was looking a little bit too human, so I went with 4 arms as well as 3 jointed legs, and man was that a mistake. Not only have I never drawn a male character before, now I've got to draw 4 arms and semi-human fawn legs. It's tempting to add a bit more detail to these characters, but I'm sticking to that design that can be animated. To classify the style, I'd say it's a semi-realistic anatomy, weighted lines, and flat, low saturation colors. I'm slowly starting to become efficient with this new process. It's simple, enjoyable, and I like the look. I haven't settled on a style for backgrounds yet. I think it would be best to draw out some concepts of what the world's magic will look like. But for now, my forest shepherd Abaddon is done. I really enjoy this world building, but I think for my next video I should try a change of pace. Perhaps dabbling in some 3D art for a bit. I know this channel started as a 3D tutorial channel, however I just don't enjoy limiting myself to one medium. As artistic skills overlap, my 2D works improves my 3D models, and vice versa. I think that's all I've got to say, so see you in the next video. And as always, thanks for watching.